Are you ready to rumble? Game one is here. We have made it. June, July, August, September. We had to wait to the end of October, and game one of the Denver Nuggets NBA season is here. And you already know Ryan Blackburn, a.k.a. Ryan Chartbourne, and your boy Swiper got to lay out the foundation. How the Denver Nuggets can get this victory, some bold season predictions, and we're going to look around the NBA. Y'all, lock in, get your popcorn, Locked On Nuggets. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper and Brian. This is your team every day. Shout out to y'all for being in here. Everybody that's here with us live, everybody that's listening to this before the game, after the game. I hope you feeling the energy. There's been a shift in the atmosphere. You can see it outside. The birds are chirping. The flock is flocking. The animals, the dogs, they're barking from the roof. It's game day, and I can't wait to get started, y'all. This is going to be a phenomenal day. Y'all, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Y'all, Ryan Blackburn, how you feeling, brother? Are you ready to go?
Man, you're bringing the energy up. I appreciate it. Lots of love for the energy in the chat from everybody. Thank you for doing so. It's been a long sort of preview stretch, and Michael Malone actually made mention of this yesterday at practice. It's been a long preseason for the Denver Nuggets. Basically, late September when they got in, early October when they went to Abu Dhabi, came back from Abu Dhabi and played 3 preseason games. And then since that final preseason game, it's been a week. Been a week since then. I think everybody's very excited to get things going, and I'm very excited to see what happens with this Nuggets team opening night.
Look, let's get straight into it, y'all. We're going to talk about some bold season predictions, and I'm going to go ahead and get us started, Ryan Blackburn. I think Julian Strawther is going to be the 6th best Nugget this season, and he could be 5th. He could be 5th. I think Julian Strawther is about to have the year of years. What we wanted from Bones Highland, that scoring punch, but more consistently, I think it's about to be here. What we wanted from Boogie Cousins in 2021, that's consistent scoring punch off the bench. I think it's about to be Julian Strawther. I said a couple of weeks ago that my best approximation for Julian Strawther is Jordan Poole. I don't think he's Jordan Poole 2020-21. I think this is going to be Jordan Poole 2021-22, where he helped the Golden State Warriors win an NBA title. Because here's the thing, the team is different. The function of the team is different. The way the team is laid out is different. But one of the things that's going to be there for them this year that wasn't there last year is a Julian Strawther that from the moment he steps on the court knows what to expect. He's ready for the moment, and he knows exactly how to play next to Jamal Murray, next to Nikola Jokic, next to Michael Porter Jr., next to Aaron Gordon, next to Russell Westbrook, next to Dario Saric, next to Peyton Watson, next to Vlatko Čančar, next to Zeke Naji. That's a dude who knows exactly what Michael Malone wants from him, and I believe he is going to be the difference maker that everybody looks at the Nuggets and said, you know what, consensus, I think I got it wrong, because that dude is that special.
Is it bold to say that Jamal Murray will make his first All-Star appearance this year?
Whoo, I wouldn't say it's bold because the West is so stacked. But if you're telling me that Jamal Murray increases his three-point output, Ryan Blackburn, I think it's very likely that he could do something like that.
I think it's very possible, man. And we saw some worries with the injury issues. He started the preseason slow, and everybody, I don't know who could have possibly overreacted to a few preseason games. But
that was me. That was me, Ryan. I take the blame. I hadn't had my coffee. I hadn't had my coffee that day.
You know, everybody overreacting swipe over here. No, I think that what Jamal proved in his final preseason game was that he is still here. He's still amped. He's still ready to go. And there's a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, if you will, with Jamal Murray and the way that he's been treated, the way that the Nuggets have been treated, how he has been sort of cast aside a lot of the way for other Western Conference guards. Anthony Edwards is the guy now. Swipa, not you, De'Aaron Fox is getting into the All-Star game over him. Devin Booker, like these are guys that have obviously had high scoring performances in the regular season. None of them have reached the heights that Jamal Murray has reached in the playoffs. And I think that Jamal's going to start translating that in the beginning of this season. I'm predicting it. This is the year that Jamal Murray starts hot. This is the year that he gets out to a good start. The Nuggets, as a result, get off to a good start. And Jamal gets some of that credit and is averaging 23, 24 points per game, 6 to 7 assists per game, shooting 42% from three. And everybody's thinking, hey, isn't he just like really good? Maybe we should give him credit for the Nuggets being in the top 3 in the West now.
You know what? I think the thing with Jamal is, Ryan, that his skill set is so tantalizing that he can do it. But I think a lot of this today is Jamal has a real nice opportunity tonight. And we'll talk about this in the third segment, but he's opening versus SGA. And then on Saturday, he's opening versus James Harden. He's going to start off this year versus 2 guards that have either been MVPs or they're MVP candidates or all-star level players. And I think tonight, opening stage, national television, is going to be the late night game broadcasted for the world to see in Denver. Last year versus the LA Lakers, he came out, had some really important plays in that game. I think this year, especially given the fact that everybody's kind of already like, oh, the Thunder, they're guaranteed number 1 seed. The Thunder are guaranteed better than the Denver Nuggets. There's a world for Jamal where it's like, look, you got Alex Caruso, you got Lou Dort, you got Shea Gilgeous, you got Cason Wallace, you got all these dudes. Nuggets in 5. It could be as simple as that. That's the way he comes out and the kind of energy he plays with. Now, obviously, everyone knows I love SGA. I think he has an incredible game. He got some mix of the old school and the new school. I think he is legitimately an MVP talent in this league and deserves all he gets. But I also think very highly of Jamal Murray. And Ryan, if you're telling me that Jamal comes out and to make it a point today, to even disprove some of the rhetoric around him being hurt and all that stuff in the preseason, there's a real opportunity for Jamal to come out this year on fire.
Now, he will have to pace himself a little bit. That's something that if you go too hard initially, if you get too amped up, there's just a larger likelihood that you're going to get hurt. And my hope for him is that he picks and chooses his spots really well, understands when it's his moments, when it's his time to sort of take over, take the reins away from Jokic a little bit, give him a time off, a few minutes off, a possession off, just whatever it is at various points throughout the game, and allow his skill set to shine forth. There is absolutely, in my opinion, like what he should be trying to do is take over for these 3 to 4 minute stretches where he puts up 10 to 12 points and just changes the complexion of the game. And then from then on, you can pick and choose your spots all throughout the game, but never, ever let the other team off the hook if you have an opportunity to do so. I think that he can do that. And to your point about Julian Strawther, I just want to circle back to that. He's been incredible to start this preseason, for the entire preseason.
Summer league too. Like he's just been on one.
Absolutely. I think he's a different player. I talked about this last night in a Spaces. I think he's a different player than he was in his rookie season. He's come back a little bit stronger, come back a little bit more confident, just somebody who I think understands the moment, appreciates it, and fits in really well with what the Nuggets are doing. So I'm very excited to see what he does.
Oh, by the way, shout out CT. I did not make that Spaces last night. I completely whiffed on that. I apologize for that, brother. Big supporter over here. Let me ask you this. My other bowl season prediction, if I told you that the Denver Nuggets have real 9 guys, Ryan Blackburn, I don't know if there's a front office member that would ever use that kind of language, but they got real 9 guys. If I told you Zeke Naji played so well, he ended up being one of the real 9, would that be, how bold would that prediction be?
It would be extremely bold. That would be kind of wild. I'm not going to lie. It's not because he can't. I think he could make it 10, but in order to do so and like jumping and leapfrogging over somebody.
I'm thinking Dario, like say he plays so well, it's like he legitimately is our best like backup bench big option. But that's not slight to Dario, but
yeah, I think that's extremely bold. I'm going to call cap on it personally. Like
cap.
I think what we've seen from Zeke over the course of these past couple weeks.
No, Grace, you're on my team.
what we've seen is that he's at his best when he's at the 4, when he's not doing a bunch of the decision making.
AG and him,
and there's just what? Go ahead.
You think AG and him would be like kind of the combo you'd be looking at a little bit, or you think him and Jokic?
They've barely gotten to that. That would be an interesting one. That would be an interesting one. I could see it working if Denver has to play a little bit smaller, a little bit more athletically. That's the thing about Dario that you can criticize a little bit. He doesn't move well, and if the Nuggets need a guy who's going to move a little bit better defensively, and if Zeke is actually hitting shots this time around, let's just run pick and rolls with Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon, and then space the floor with Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, and Zeke Naji. As I say it, that doesn't necessarily feel that great, but if it works, it works.
Well, I think Zeke's shooting would be the difference, right? Like if his defense is what it usually has been, but his shooting is what maintains, then it's like, oh, snap. That's what makes Zeke in the preseason. It was like, oh, man, if he's hitting threes like this is like a real weapon. Like now you got a big that can be a vertical spacer, and he can switch very well. And you could really play him next to Aaron Gordon and all them. Could Aaron, even if you ran a 4-5 pick and roll with Zeke is a good like lob threat, all that. But y'all, on the other side, we're going to talk about some things around the NBA, finish up a little bit of points here about the Denver Nuggets. But there was a lot of NBA action last night, Ryan Blackburn, and there's some stuff I actually want to directly ask you, of all people, about. Y'all, we'll be right back here on Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, everybody knows I love going to concerts. I love going to events, venues. I don't know if y'all know this, but I have been a very new fan of salsa bachata. And I love going to concerts and dancing at events like that. So, y'all, the place that I really want to go to do all that is Gametime. Y'all, Gametime has super deals where basically you can find the best price, the best tickets, even leading up to the event. PrizePicks even filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals to get you great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You get all-in pricing, you get seat views, you get a panoramic view from your seat on the app before you buy, and you get the lowest price guarantee, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Y'all, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time.
Game time.
We'll be right back here on Locked On Nuggets. Welcome back. Segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper, with your boy, Ryan Blackburn. I'm so glad he is a part of the Locked On Nuggets team now. Y'all, if you're listening to this on Apple iTunes, and you say, those guys got great voices, I want to give them some support. Give us a 5-star review. Let the people know where you like getting your favorite content on the audio side. If you're on YouTube and you say, Ryan has the best hair in the business, I want to support. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of this next season, y'all. Let's tap back into it, y'all. Let me tell y'all. Hurricane, what kind of question is this? It's a salsa scene good in Atlanta? 1,000%. Oh my gosh, we got Puerto Ricans, we got Dominicans, we have Mexicans, we got the Spanish, and they convalesce. There's a social every single weekend in New York, in New Jersey, and I'm telling y'all, there's congresses around the U.S. as well. That's where you need to be going for Gametime. Y'all check me out, right?
Oh yeah.
What do you think? What do you think of how the Phoenix Suns looked yesterday? Now, I know that Nurkic got into foul trouble. That never happens. There was no Kawhi Leonard. Paul George is gone. I know the Clippers, they're a different kind of team. What were your overall thoughts as you watch the Phoenix Suns yesterday? Did they look like a team that is going to contend for the top of the West?
Honestly, no. I thought that there were some interesting things. The weirdness happens early on in seasons, especially for the season opener. Obviously, they're opening up that new building, the Intuit Dome, and by the way, looks beautiful. It looks
like the wall.
Great. I
the wall at the free throw
didn't see
line.
like actual like a visual of the wall, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that from last night. But I heard a
Yeah.
lot about it, and they're saying it
Well,
was
Devin
messing
Booker
with
said
them a
it
little
made him
bit.
miss a free throw, so it was
Yeah.
worth $2 billion they invested in it.
Maybe so, and if it helps them, helps the other team miss some free throws in playoff games, that would be a big deal.
Mm.
We'll see what happens for the next couple of years, but I was not impressed with the Clippers. James Harden did a good job of kind of getting them back on track and putting them into a position, but the defense was pretty good for the Clippers, and the Suns didn't necessarily handle that well. Clippers were very undersized,
Yeah.
and I thought that they
Well,
were able
Zubac
to
had
get
a
in.
game yesterday.
Yeah, no, they were like, he was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only one that's like any big for the Clippers on that team. So other than Kai Jones, shout out to Kai Jones and his bald head now, or is it shaved head? Like I didn't really
Shaved.
get a good. He's got it shaved. Okay,
Mm-hmm. That's what it looks like to me.
very very different from the green hair that he used to rock and the blue hair. But I think that the Suns they're interesting, right? Like I think they've got so many different options that they're trying out all these different options, and there's a lot of different weapons and players and shooters that they can go to. At one point, nobody had more than 7 shots on the team, and it was like midway through the third quarter, and that was kind of surprising to me. So maybe that's just what they're going to be like. They're going to spread the love a little bit.
Ryan, when people have children, either through adoption, foster care, or having their own child biologically, people say that it's like having your heart on the outside of your body. That's what people liken it to. I had a similar feeling about that yesterday, Ryan Blackburn. Do you know why?
Why?
Because Chris Dunn was balling.
Oh, he was good.
Chris Dunn was getting deflections. He was everywhere defensively. When he was in the game, Kevin Durant's primary matchup. I mean, just incredible. Like, I think that the Clippers are better than what people expect. And I actually want to say this too. James Harden didn't get a lot of love. I actually think that James deserves credit for yesterday, even though he was not as efficient as you want. Turnovers were a little high. But Ryan, he was like the only one doing much of anything yesterday offensively. Because if it wasn't him and he wasn't creating for Norman Powell or whoever, they don't really have anybody else who's an on-ball creator on the roster.
Yeah. Norman Powell, I think, did some good things in like DHOs coming off of screens and whatnot. But for the most part, it really was just Harden, and he played a heavy minute load. And Chris Dunn, we'll see what he could do for them. Derek Jones Jr., I think, hit a couple important shots for them. But I'm just not impressed with that team. I think that asking Harden to do that much is going to wear him down in ways that he's just not going to be able to handle that. And they'll get some wins. There's no doubt about it. But I'm kind of surprised that Bones didn't play, if I'm being honest. Like he's been passed up by Kevin Porter Jr. already.
Yeah. I think there's going to be interesting how they work out the rest of this year. The only 35-year-old I know that could carry that kind of load and like legitimately be a playoff team is like LeBron. And Kevin Durant, and maybe Steph at 35 maybe could have done that if he stayed healthy. Let me ask you this. There's a team in Orlando that has been assembled, and they're basically a defensive juggernaut. Did you happen to catch any of that game and what they did to the Miami Heat in the second half?
I caught a little bit of it, and just what I was watching, Orlando was dominating Miami physically.
Yeah.
Like, they were overwhelming Miami physically, and that should be the mentality of their group, right? They're bigger, they're faster,
than Bam.
Stronger, better defensively. Like that group is very interesting.
Yeah.
KCP did not shoot the ball well, but I thought that they're just overwhelming to a team like that, and Miami eventually cracked. And Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, not a super impressive debut from those guys this season, not going to lie.
Well, Miami, they're going to have stuff they have to work out. They don't have a real offensive engine in the regular season. Jimmy just doesn't do that. But, Jalen Suggs, KCP, Franz, Paolo, Wendell Carter, Anthony Black, Cole Anthony, Gary Harris had a game yesterday, and then Mo Wagner.
And Jonathan Isaac. Don't forget Isaac.
Yeah, they're just 7 of the 10 are all like not just good defenders, but like very good defenders.
Yeah.
Like that's wild, bro. Like they're a juggernaut defensively. And I'm actually really curious to see how they develop. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Somebody who impressed me yesterday was LaMelo. Bro, they were down. I about turned the game off versus the Rockets. And then all of a sudden I hear, close game at the end. Why? I pull a clip. Why is Trey Man killing y'all? What? Where did Allen Iverson come from?
Yeah.
Like LaMelo looked good too, bro. He had like 34 and 11 yesterday. Shout out LaMelo.
He looks good, and the structure around him when they're relatively full strength is still pretty good. Brandon Miller, he didn't finish the game, obviously. They had to survive without him. But if he is delivering LaMelo the way that he is, then like so much of his issues have been just staying healthy, have been staying out there. And I think his mentality has to be a little bit better in general. But like if he's healthy and his mentality is good, he's one of the most talented players in the NBA.
Man, look, well, Denver Nuggets play tonight. And on the other side, we're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets game because I'm excited. There's some things to look to for this game. And look,
you missed one important one.
Which one?
What is this investigation going on with Philly?
Oh, well, just so what I have gathered, Ryan Blackburn, and you can please follow up if need be, they haven't seemed to have a consistent reporting around Joel Embiid or Paul George's injury.
No doubt.
And because of that, Embiid is clearly hurt. What I've heard is that he hasn't even done scrimmaging. Like he hasn't ran 5-on-5 this offseason. So, I mean, he's actually hurt. They're already predicting that he's going to sit out back-to-backs. Where did that information come from? So is he not healthy enough to play the front end? There's so much information coming out about like load management, but in the NBA's new rules, especially national televised games, and you have 2 All-Stars, well, you can't just do what you want. You have to report these things. So do you think that the NBA is going to come down? What do you predict is going to come out of this fallout with the investigation?
I think that what they're going to find is that Embiid is hurt, and they're going to find that he's only going to be able to play 50 games a season for much of the rest of his career.
Yeah,
that's just how and
I don't blame Embiid for that at all.
Yeah, it sucks that you want somebody like that's as talented as he is to stay healthy and be on the floor. But the way that everybody gaslights the way Philly fans gaslight every other person, just even thinking and looking at their team and wondering, hey, what is going on? It's part of the plan. I don't know, man. I have no idea what the plan is. Does anybody know what the plan is there? It feels very odd, very weird. And it just feels like everything weird happens around Daryl Morey and just everything that they do. So I don't understand it. And I hope that they can get everybody back on track. But the reality of the situation is that there's a reason why I didn't pick them to win many more games than they won last year. It's because they're not going to be on the floor together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. On the other side, I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets versus the OKC Thunder. We'll be right back here at Locked On Nuggets. Yo, PrizePicks is the place to be. There are so many great things about PrizePicks, and if you don't know, PrizePicks is the best place to get real money on sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long with PrizePicks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive. The $50 bonus is guaranteed. Think Justin Jefferson will get more than 83.5 yards this week? You think when Christian McCaffrey comes back, he'll get more than 75.5 yards? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season with you and your crew. Run your game on PrizePicks. Y'all, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. We'll be right back here for more on Locked On Nuggets. We are back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is also with your boy, Ryan Blackburn, a.k.a. Ryan Charburn. Yo, let me ask you something. Tell me how you're projecting tonight to go. If you got to give me right now, the fate of the universe on the line, what is your actual game and score prediction for the Denver Nuggets versus the OKC Thunder today?
I'm going to go ahead and predict Thunder 125, Nuggets 120. That's my prediction. I think it's probably a little bit pessimistic for people, but one of the things I'm thinking about and the reason why, Like, I think the Nuggets can beat the Thunder in a playoff series. I think that if over the course of a season, over the course of a series, they'll figure this Thunder team out and they'll be able to get it done when the time comes. In terms of their readiness right now to deal with a team like OKC and just how overwhelming they can be, not only physically, but mentally with just what they're trying to do, I don't think the Nuggets are quite ready for this one out of the gate. And the Chet at the 5 wrinkle, I think actually hurts Denver more than it helps them. Just with the way that the Thunder are going to be able to space the floor 5 out, how much they're going to have to be on the perimeter, it's going to open up the paint behind it. And the Nuggets are just going to give up a lot of threes. And if the Thunder are going to hit the threes at any rate like they did in the last game in the preseason, I just think that they're probably going to win. But that's okay. Like, I'm not going to, nobody should be overreacting about that because the Thunder are really good. And they have a whole bunch of different configurations that are really good. But I would go 125, 120 OKC, and that's fine.
My prediction for tonight is going to be 117, 113 Denver. I actually think that obviously with no Isaiah Hartenstein, it depends on how deep in the bag Malone wants to get with their defensive coverages. Versus teams that have 5 spacers like the Celtics, what they'll do is they'll flash. So if they do run a pick and roll with, say, Jokic is guarding Chet or Jokic versus Celtics guarding KP, then what they'll do is they'll hedge and then have the backside wing would flash towards the center at the top of the key and basically would prevent them from either shooting an open 3 or they would shoot a contested 3, and then they would rotate backside until Jokic is able to recover back to the spot. I don't know if they're going to do that tonight. That's just like a lot. Like, we don't really need to deploy like a playoff defense for this. But there also will be some opportunity for Jokic. I think at some point he's going to be on Lou Dort. That will be something they close the fourth quarter with, possibly just like they would do with like somebody like a Drew Holiday. But ultimately, Jokic is about to feast. I think that Jokic is going to have his way. Jamal Murray hasn't had like a great game versus OKC, but I think just kind of weird things are right now. I think if he gets off to a fast start, there's a world for me with Jamal Murray had about 15 points before halftime, which would set him up for success for the rest of the game. And some of that's going to come in transition. So getting stops, running out, Jamal just taking those threes. I think that Julian Strawther off the bench is going to have a nice back and forth with Cason Wallace. I actually really like Cason Wallace. He is a sneaky two-way player. But ultimately, I got 117, 113 Denver. I think Jokic is going to have like, I would say 20, 29, 13, and 9 is about what the stat line I would have for him tonight, I think, right now. How do you feel about that?
I'd honestly go higher on the rebounding even. Like that's one thing where in games that matter, Jokic rebounds really well.
Right.
And against Chet Holmgren, who's just undersized, and like whether they switch out, if it's going to be Jalen Williams like J-Dub guarding him or Shea or any of those other guys, going to be really hard for anybody to contain him on the rebounding side. So I might even go 15, 16, 17 rebounds just with the way that he really puts it together. So I would go 30, 16, and 8. That'd be my guess.
30, 16, and 8. All right, let's remember that for tonight. So I got 29. I said 29, 13, and 9.
Yep.
29, 13, and 9. And then Ryan has 30 what?
30, 16, and 8.
30, 16, and 8. So basically what he did versus the Warriors in the playoffs. All right. What do you think about for Michael Porter's line tonight?
That one's going to be really interesting because I think between Alex Caruso and Lou Dort, and then maybe some Shea, that's a really tough perimeter.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Hurricanes is going off right
What
now.
kind of game is this? 30, 17, and 18 and a 50 point from Shea?
Now, what that says, I think the over is it's an easy lock for whatever the over is. I think that both of these teams are going to score points against each other, no doubt. But I would say in general that for Mike, he's going to have to figure out how to deal with that perimeter defender that's underneath his skin. Lou Dort likes to be annoying and physical. Alex Caruso will do the same thing. Shea is like he led the NBA in steals last year. So if he can avoid that and still go to the rim and maybe grab some offensive rebounds and cut and then get his shot off over some of these guys, he will have a good game. But I just
wonder if he
don't
can use
know.
if this is a game for him to use his new profound size with the added weight.
It's going to be fascinating because, like, I don't want him to dribble doing that, you know, like, because when you're dribbling in a crowd like that, these guys are they're gonna thief the ball. That's what's going to happen.
Address this, by the way, Ryan Blackburn. Tell them the sad story.
Guys, play the tiny violin.
Wait, hold on.
Nikola Jokic at practice yesterday was clean shaven. It was a sad story for all of Nuggets Nation that loves to see bearded Jokic, but it is going to be okay. He will grow back the beard at some point.
Yeah, that message gone. Let me tell you this. I would not be shocked today if Julian Strawther is the third leading scorer tonight.
I think that's a great take.
Because of the three-pointers. Like, there could be some transition opportunity for Julian today where the Nuggets are getting a stop and say Jamal's in with him and you're like bending the defense towards Joker and Jamal, and then here comes Julian backside just lighting the world on fire. There's a world for me. I think Julian can finish between 18 and 21 points. My
prediction for scores is that Jokic will have 30, as I said, and all three of Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Michael Porter have in between 17 and 19 points.
In a loss?
Yeah, because I think that OKC is just going to be dominant from an offensive perspective themselves. Like, they're going to get up a lot of shots. They're going to get up a lot of threes. But I think that AG is going to have he's going to have a lot of success doing a lot of the same things that Joker's going to do to Chet. He'll do the same thing to Jalen Williams or anybody that he switched out onto. They just don't have the size to keep up with him. And if he wants to, I'm going to say 18, 8, and 4 for AG. What
is the amount of threes that I would tell you that Joker hit? Like, after tomorrow, the Nuggets win the game. What would be the amount of threes Joker would hit in this game for you to be like, oh, they definitely won the game?
Ooh.
Like, if he hit 3 threes, are you like?
I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence in his 3-point shot right now. So yeah, like if he hits 3 threes, then they're pretty great. Like, that would be sick.
I think there's a world he can go like 3. I think 3 or 7 just because of the way they're going to guard him, like into Jamal Murray in that pick and roll. And a lot of this is Joker just needs to get the ball up. Like, forget everything else. Just, because especially if Jamal Murray is going to like drag Chet down to the basket. Look, just shoot it, and then hopefully if his form's in, it goes in. Yeah, I mean, it just wouldn't surprise me if he goes 10 of 15 from 2 and 1 of 6 from 3. That's what I would mostly expect. 11 of 21, man, you better stop. That's a pretty reasonable line. Who do you think this is, Embiid? I'm sorry, my bad. Sorry. This is above 50%, sir. Wait, Jokic hit a 3 versus Boston in preseason, I believe. I want to say the game 1, maybe. She said the last time Jokic hit a 3. Well, he had two in the last game of the season last year versus in game 7. He had 2 of them. They ran an elevator screen for him. It was like 2 of 10. Yeah, but he hit one. Okay, great. So that's awesome. So I think Denver's going to have a tough time defensively. I wonder what the Russell Westbrook experience is going to be like with that second unit. Case and Wallace will probably guard him a lot too, and it just wouldn't surprise me if they if he gets the ball thieved a couple times. But it also wouldn't surprise me if he pushes the pace and really sets up Julian Strawther really well. So I think Russ can have like six assists and 2 turnovers today, or 6 and 3. I will go 5 and 4. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah. Oh man, one of us is going to be proven right today. We need to put a little FanDuel on this, you know what I mean? Little parlay. little parchees, some might say. Let me know what you think in the comment section. How do you think this game goes tonight for the Denver Nuggets versus OKC Thunder? Will Swiper be proven right in a 117-113 victory? Or will Ryan be proven right with a 125-120 win for the OKC Thunder? Y'all, this has been Locked On Nuggets. The season is here. Game 1. Swiping Gripe back tomorrow. Can't wait. See y'all on the other side.